What's up, farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're checking out my top 5 favorite elongated paddles. But I just want y'all to know I have another episode of Pickleball Paddle Pairing come out. It's episode 2. We have a big giveaway with 3 paddles on that episode. So at the end of this, I'll have a card up so you can click on it and go check it out and maybe enter yourself for the giveaway. But yeah, if you've noticed these top 5 paddles that I'm going to mention, 4 of them will be considered all-court, leaning slightly powered due to the fact of them being elongated and having some sort of plow-through. There's one in here that is straight up all pop and power. You guys can already go ahead and figure what it is if you checked out my top 10 videos. But let's get into this review. Hope y'all been doing good. Number 5 on this list would be the 11-6-24 Harachi Control, or also known as the Harachi Kevlar. Okay. This one is number 5 because this one fits a certain area that some of these other paddles don't. If you're wanting enough room to be able to do 2-hand backhand dinks and 2-hand backhand drives and stuff like that very consistently, this one will be a paddle that is definitely for you. This one has easily enough room to fit 2 hands on it, pretty much regardless of your hand size. It's also one of the softer ones on this list. So if you're wanting something with a little more control and enough room to be able to, crank that 2-hand backhand dink cross court, this one is a very good option. Now, when I came to the decision with these paddles, this is the only one out of all the paddles I've tried with an elongated handle that I thought deserved to be in the top 5 in any of the lists, even out of like the hybrids with the long handles. This one is the only one that I could actually go to a tournament with and feel like I could play and not be hindered by the paddle and having a longer handle and less paddle face. Overall, it's just a really good feeling paddle. And I also have the Monarch Control review coming out later this week, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's get into number 4. Number 4 is the Bread and Butter Shogun. The face on this paddle is part titanium. It feels way different than everything else on this list. When I first started playing with it, the first couple of times, I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this. But then once I got more and more used to it, I could control my shots easily. It didn't feel like it was crazy poppy. It had good enough power. The plow through wasn't like crazy like the Hudef Viva Pro 3 or anything like that. But it was just an overall well-balanced all-court paddle for an elongated shape. And if you've noticed here, most of these paddles I'm going for or I'm going to mention are all along the all-court place, except for the Paddle Tech for the most part. But yeah, Bread and Butter knew exactly what they were doing. They were the first one to come to market with this titanium paddle. Now we just got to get them to bring out a wide body and a hybrid shape. Number 3 is the Rhombus Pulsar R1 FX. Overall, this is a really good paddle. If you guys have watched my channel, you guys will know that I love the R2 FX. Now, the only difference between the R2 FX and the R1 FX is the R2 is going to have a bigger sweet spot, a lighter swing weight, but the face and the construction and everything is the same. You're going to get a decent amount of plow through with this paddle. This is not like a crazy plush paddle. It is not a really poppy paddle. It is literally right in the middle. That's why I said earlier that you're going to notice a lot of these paddles that I'm mentioning are considered all-court paddles, and this one falls into that criteria as well. I also prefer this one over the R3 because they clip the ears off of this one, and it does make it feel more maneuverable and easier to swing, when you're hitting drives or if you're at the kitchen and you got to do a counter or something. Number 2 is the Groov Laser 16X. Man, I absolutely love this paddle like a lot. Okay, it's got just enough pop that you're going to be able to do speed ups and stuff and it's going to catch people off guard, but it's not enough pop to where you can't control it. And when it comes to the power, this is one of the least powerful ones out of the ones I listed on this list. And a lot of that is due to the plow through. On this paddle, I had 117 swing weight. That is right on par with some of the hybrids that I've tested, which is crazy. And that is probably a big reason on why it's so high up on my list was its maneuverability. Because I didn't feel like I was sluggish or anything like that at the kitchen when I used it. It's part Kevlar, part raw carbon fiber, which a lot of the companies are coming out with right now. But this is the one that stood out the most amongst all them when I was using the paddle. Number 1 is the Paddle Tech. You could probably go ahead and finish it for me. The TKO-C 12.7 millimeters. Man, if y'all watch my top 10 video, you guys know I absolutely love this paddle. The aggression from it, the pops, the power from the drives and stuff like that, all of it is just so clean. Now, when you come, with the power and the pop with that, there's going to be drawbacks. And the drawback is the control. Now, if you're going to be switching between this and other paddles, you might as well just not even get this paddle. This is going to be a paddle that you're going to have to commit to and play with and not go to anything else. Because the moment you start going to something else and go back to this, you're going to have a bad time, straight up. But overall, this is a crazy good paddle. If you're aggressive, if you're constantly crashing, if you're the person that drives all the time, if you're constantly looking for speed ups, this is the one and the whole list that I would recommend to you. But if you're more of a balanced soft game player, these other paddles might be better options. Now, when it comes to the special mentions, I want to mention the Hudef Viva Pro 3 and the Swiss Swift Pro. Man, that is a tongue twister. The Hudef Viva Pro 3 has a little bit of stiffness to it, but it has a lot of plow through. It is the second most powerful paddle that I've mentioned in this video behind the PaddleTech TKOC. And it's got a really heavy swing weight. So if you're someone that likes a beefy swing weight with a lot of plow through, the Hudef Viva Pro 3 could be a really good option for you. But if you're wanting a very, very, very balanced option for elongated paddles, the Swiss Swift Pro is what I would go with. It's not overly heavy. It doesn't have a crazy amount of power. The pop is average. The control is average. It's just an overall average paddle. But sometimes that's what we need, because if we have the PaddleTechs or some of the other poppy stuff, we're going to start doing stuff that we normally wouldn't do and being over aggressive. So that's why I mentioned these two paddles in the special mentions. I hope this helped you make a decision, or at least look into buying some of these paddles if you were looking at elongated paddles. I do have reviews for every one of these paddles if you want to check them out. Really good paddles all around. I can't swing elongated paddles much. These are the 5 that I can swing and play with if I had to. Preferably, though, your boy's going wide body or a hybrid. Preferably wide body. But yeah, until next time, stay safe. Have a good day. Drink plenty of water. Peace, y'all.